Neuroscience has been discovering lots of surprising things over the past few decades. One of the most disconcerting is just how little we are in control of our own brains. We live in this little corner of our minds called consciousness, but it really only makes up a small portion of our brain's activity. Much of what our brain does is handled by subconscious and unconscious automatic processes. The process we will be looking at today is called priming. Priming is where our brains are cued to think about or recognize something. A lot of the language around it is technical, but priming is a word we use in everyday life, and in exactly the same way. Primer is what you put on a wall before you paint it. Neural priming is the same. It's something that gets something ready for something else. And like so much of what happens in our brain, it happens totally outside our control. In one classic priming experiment, you are shown a picture. You are then shown a word with a letter missing. There are a number of possible answers, but the picture, even though it wasn't actually of the word itself, relates to the word and steers your brain towards something associated with it. Bubbles make you think of soap. Cooking ingredients make you think of soup. No, it's not 100% reliable, but that's because brains aren't consistent. What a different world it would be if we could predict how brains reacted to everything all the time. So, how does priming work in music? Well, again, you need to have a stimulus, which prepares your brain for what's coming. In this case, the chorus of Blur's song Country House is laying the groundwork for what's to come. What will follow is, in technical terms, a counter-melodic refrain. Counter-melodic just means it's a tune that fits with another tune, but isn't a simple harmony part. Refrain just means it's a simple melody that repeats. So, we've got a chorus preparing us for a short, repeating tune. Watching afternoon repeats and the 38s in the country. He takes a manner of pills and piles up analyst spells in the country. Oh, it's like an animal farm, that's a rural charm in the country. The next time we encounter the chorus, we actually get the refrain, but it happens with the chorus. So you've got these two melodies going on, and your ear will tend to focus on the one it knows best, meaning you don't necessarily notice the refrain consciously. The first time I heard Country House, I honestly didn't take in it at all. Now that I've pointed out that it's going to happen, you're never going to miss it. You are primed, both in your musical subconscious and your conscious awareness. Next, we get the refrain on its own. It's entirely possible that the first time you hear this part of the song, you think you're hearing the refrain for the first time, but it's instantly familiar and comfortable. This is because of something called the mere exposure effect. We like what we already know, and whether we know it or not, we've already heard the refrain. We'll be taking a deeper dive into the mere exposure effect in a different video. Now comes the interesting part of musical priming. We listen to the song again. Now, we probably clearly hear the refrain when it happens with the chorus, but, and this is both completely intuitive and totally bizarre, we hear the refrain even when it's not being sung. When the chorus comes in for the first time, we can hear where the refrain would fit, and our brain can happily fill in the missing notes. We don't exactly hear it, but we don't exactly not hear it.
Watching afternoon repeats and the 38s in the country. He takes a manner of pills and piles up analyst spells in the country. Oh, it's like an animal farm, that's a rural charm in the country.
One of the real wonders of our brains is in our ability to imagine what isn't there with startling clarity. Elderly people often say that what happened 50 years ago seems more real to them than what happened yesterday. Because it is. Because those memories are more strongly imprinted on their brains electrically and chemically. It's not a nostalgic, sentimental thought, it's a genuine physical reality. As we move forward, we're going to have to get increasingly comfortable with the fact that much of our conscious understanding of ourselves, much of what we use to get our sense of self from, what we use to get our identity from, is, to put it bluntly, wrong.